This is insane!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Auto Anorak. Today we're going to be talking about Stradman. Yes, yet again. I don't know if you guys have noticed recently, but I've been trying to figure out what other YouTubers you guys are interested in. I had the Street Speed one, I even did the Marashi one. I know he's not a YouTuber, but I'm just testing the waters right now. But the one thing I know you always appreciate is a Stradman video. And today we're going to be talking about his brand new supercar, the McLaren MP4 12C, which, may I mention, is actually just the 12C. McLaren changed it themselves because they felt the name was too long, and I think the world can definitely agree. It's probably the only supercar name that you may mistake for the name of a washing machine. So today we're going to be talking about the McLaren. We're going to be talking about what does this mean for the channel. I guess we can go a little bit into why he bought it, but he's already gone into that, and why this is so cool. So let's talk about it. The Stradman's brand new McLaren 12C. So if you haven't watched it in one of Stradman's most recent videos, he just bought a silver McLaren 12C. This was McLaren's very first car as McLaren Automotive. McLaren is different to the actual Formula 1 team, and the McLaren Automotive today is slightly different to the McLaren whenever they made the McLaren F1. So this is their first big shot as McLaren Automotive at a road car. The car was released in roughly 2010, and you can definitely see that it was a Ferrari 458 competitor, in that both of the cars had roughly 560 horsepower. They both cost roughly £170,000, and they were both mid-engined V8 supercars. But the McLaren took a slightly different route. Where the Ferrari went for a 4.5 naturally aspirated V8 engine, McLaren went for a 3.8 litre twin turbo unit, which is kind of funny considering the next Ferrari, the 488, did go for a 3.8 litre twin turbo. So a little bit of crossover. McLaren potentially thinking a little bit ahead there. At the time, for many, this McLaren was a dream car. It had those dihedral doors, it had active aero, the two exhausts out the back in the same sort of cluster as the rear lights really give it a very unique shape. That even though I think a lot of people felt the McLaren looked a bit safe in terms of design compared to the 458, I think a lot of people were blown away by its different features. But, and this is quite a big but, the image of McLaren has changed quite a bit over the years. You see, a handful of YouTubers have owned McLaren 12Cs, and most notably that would be Hoovie's Garage,
hello,
and DDE.
What's up, you guys?
But for you US viewers, there's also a guy called Sideways Sid who's done some stuff with Chris Harris before. Essentially, the man drives cars in ridiculous ways.
C63, Panamera diesel. I had a Panamera diesel.
I can't imagine him driving the McLaren nicely or gently. He may have done some things with it, but to cut a long story short, he blew up the engine on the car. The car was not drivable. He bought the car for about £80,000, owned it for like a week or two, and it just died. Hoovie's Garage had similar problems with his 12C.
This McLaren racked up over $150,000 in repairs.
I believe the previous owner had had the transmission changed like 2 or 3 times, and I think Hoovie had to do some similarly horrible work on it. He bought it for similar money in USD. Pretty bad. But meanwhile, DDE, Daily Driven Exotics, the people that thrash supercars.
Oh yeah.
The people that put a Gintani exhaust system on it. And then they proceeded to put that like McLaren 600 LT exhaust. They tuned the car. Didn't seem to have any of these issues on their 12C, which is mind-boggling. And it almost does feel like McLaren are going through a very similar thing to the UK car company TVR many years ago, which essentially was like, if your car was made on a Monday morning, people might be slacking, a little bit hungover. If your car was made on a Friday evening, maybe people were slacking a little bit because they wanted to go home for the weekend. If your car was made maybe on a Tuesday or maybe on a Thursday, might have been a little bit better. So yeah, McLarens do seem a little bit hit or miss, and it does seem like most luxury cars in the UK are like this. I know of plenty of Range Rover owners that have no issues, totally fine, and then other ones which have nothing but issues. So what does this mean for Stradman? Well, I'm thinking from a content basis, this is actually an amazing car to create a story out of, because potentially you're going to get a bit of that Hoovie's garage effect in that the car is basically a ticking time bomb, just like whenever you have a Murcielago on any channel. You're just waiting till the clutch goes. Well, with this car, you're waiting till the electrics go. You're also waiting for whenever he gets locked out of the door. You may have seen that you just swipe under the door, just like you would with like a credit card or something like that.
You can still open it. Yeah, you're just making excuses.
I've never done this
Nice
before.
and gentle. Just
Nice and gentle, like a baby. Wait, what?
They actually changed that on the following years of the 12C to just a button, because loads of people ended up not being able to get in their cars because it wouldn't work on like cold days and stuff like that, and some people even got locked in their cars. That's even been a problem with the 570S. Oh, also I should say this video is not to defame McLaren for legal reasons, all that stuff. Like it genuinely isn't, but these are just the cold hard facts. These are what we've seen with McLarens throughout the past years. But when you think about this from a YouTuber's perspective, think of all the videos he could make getting locked in my McLaren for 24 hours. He could make videos which are incredibly suspenseful whenever at the end of the video the transmission looks like it's blown up and then you have to wait till the next video. There's loads of opportunities for things that will keep people engaged with his channel, so I think that's going to be a very interesting aspect of it. We may be seeing videos in relation to that, and then we get to the tuning of the car, because McLarens are interesting. Obviously, being a turbo car, it's much easier for you to turn up the power in one of these things. McLaren themselves from the factory upgraded it from like the mid 500 horsepower range to 616 horsepower. It was a free upgrade that you could do in your car, which is quite amazing. So that 616 horsepower upgrade is a lot, but you can upgrade the turbos, maybe do some pure turbo upgrades, something like that, and these cars can easily make 800 horsepower. The caveat of that is that it makes them much more susceptible to breakages. But I think personally that would just add to the whole sense that this is a ticking time bomb, and it would keep you much more on the edge while you're watching it. I mean, imagine watching an 800, 900 horsepower build in this car on a stock transmission after knowing that countless other YouTubers have had their transmissions blow up.
I'm actually barely able to keep my head above water.
Kind of edge on the seat viewing. And let's not forget, this is the same engine that was used in the Mclaren P1. Yes, of course, the Mclaren P1 also had the assistance from electric motors, and the Mclaren P1 also had slightly tweaked turbos, definitely some tweaked internals within the engine, but ultimately it's the same 3.8 litre twin turbo platform. And with Stradman trying to do his GTR build that will beat the Bugatti Veyron, doing a 12C build to beat the Mclaren P1, which is the car he was gonna get other than the Veyron, would just be cool, I guess. It would just be like, well, I've got a car just as fast anyway. And then we get on to perhaps one of the cooler theory skepticisms about what might happen with this car. And that is the fact that this is the second McLaren on the channel, and the first McLaren on the channel was known as the BabyMac. So this is kind of like BabyMac 2.0, except it's kind of like Father Mac, Daddy Mac. I don't know what to say there. I'm gonna say BabyMac 2.0, but you know, because it's older, it's potentially like the father figure of the 570S. Anyway, with it being the BabyMac 2.0, that begs the question, will there be another McLaren giveaway? The last giveaway was his McLaren 570S, which he tuned up to, and it claimed 800 horsepower, and then he claimed it might have been 700. My guess is probably just under the 700 horsepower range, and at the crank, not at the wheels. Anyway, it did sound amazing. It spat flames. It was in this matte ice blue color, very, very nice. It had upgraded black wheels, it was lowered, it had that like McLaren P1 style bonnet. Lovely car. And that giveaway really did some amazing things for his channel. It let him bring a McLaren to the channel, which was a car of a much higher caliber than he'd ever seen before. And obviously the 12C quite clearly isn't of the caliber of the Veyron, but I do think it's a very nice car, and I think if he fully upgraded it, I mean, imagine this with the Liberty Walk kit. There's a Liberty Walk kit that they do for the 650Ss. If he did that, and then I think if he did it in like the Harrods livery, I'll show you it up here, I think that would be an awesome addition to the fleet. It would be an amazing build after making his Liberty Walk Aventador, and it would let us as the fans engage with that Liberty Walk supercar lifestyle. So I do think that's a really cool idea. We could be seeing a BabyMac 2.0 giveaway. So yeah, this has really just been a video to kind of update you all on his brand new car. Obviously as well, this car was bought because his friend couldn't sell his 12C, and he needed the money because I think his mother had cancer, which is really unfortunate. So I think it was great of Stradman to buy this car off him so that he could get the money as soon as possible and put it into the treatment. Hats off. If I had a hat, I'd take it off, Stradman, because that was a very, very good deed. And of course as well, I think it was a great thing for the channel, as you've seen from this video, because this video has really just been summarizing what we can potentially see from Stradman with this McLaren. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Let me know if this is the kind of video you enjoy. I'm going to be switching things up in a few weeks, really just experimenting with what you all want to see. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.